I was lying there on my back one night, and the lights dimmed down to almost nothing. And up above me I heard a click and a flash, and Amy Stanton stood looking at me from the far wall. Oh, sure, it was a picture, all right. I didn't need to do any figuring to know they were using a slide projector. She was coming down the walk of her house, smiling but looking kind of fussed, like I'd seen her so many times. I could almost hear her say it. "Well, you finally got here, didn't you?" And even though it was just a picture, it looked and seemed so real that I answered her back. Kind of looks that way, don't it? After that one, which was taken recently, there was one of her when she was about 15, and then they worked up through the years. I saw her the day she graduated from high school, wearing a white lacy dress, standing there real stiff with her arms in close at her sides. I saw her sitting on her front porch, trying to laugh in spite of herself. It had always been so hard for Amy to laugh. That old dog of theirs trying to lick her on the ear. I saw her working in the garden, wearing an old pair of jeans. I saw her walking back from church, kind of biting her lip, looking up at that little hat she'd made for herself. I saw her all dressed up, looking scared the time she went off to teacher's college. I saw her with her dress pulled way up high, where she just slid down off a fence when I'd taken the snap of her. She was bent over trying to cover herself. "Now, don't you dare, Lou, don't you dare." She'd been mad about me taking that one, but she saved it anyway. You know, they sure seemed to be in a hell of a hurry every time I'd start to enjoy one and remember how old she was, and when it was taken, they'd flash it off and put another one on. A damn sorry way to act, the way I saw it. Like she wasn't good enough to look at, as if they'd seen someone else who was better. I ain't prejudiced or nothing, but you wouldn't see a prettier or better built girl than Amy Stanton in a month of Sundays. Aside from being slight on Amy, it was pretty stupid to rush to them like they were doing, like they seemed to be doing. I mean, after all, the whole object was to make me crack up, and how could I do that when I didn't even get a good look at her? Of course, I wasn't going to crack up. I felt better and stronger every time I saw her, but they didn't know that. And it didn't excuse them for lying down on the job. They were just too damn lazy and stupid to do it right. They started showing them about 8:30 that morning. They should have lasted at least until 1 or 2 the next morning, but they had to go be in a hell of a hurry, and it was only around 11 o'clock that night when they got to the last one. I walked over to the wall where they were showing them, and I put on a pretty good act. Just enough to let them think I was bothered, but not enough to mean anything at a sanity hearing. They acted a little different the next day, sort of more watchful. So I did a lot of frowning and staring down at the floor. Only ate part of my breakfast, and it seemed to me I was putting on just the right kind of act. But then I had to go spoil everything by asking the nurse a question. "Oh, excuse me, will they be showing the pictures tonight, ma'am?" "What pictures? I don't know anything about any pictures. You know, the pictures of my girl. Will they show them?" "You'll see, mister. You'll find out." "Well, would you tell them not to do it so fast? When they rush through them like that, I don't get to see her too good." You mean you want to see them pictures? You do want to see them?" "Why, sure I do. Why the hell wouldn't I?" "I'm sorry. I don't want to cause any trouble. If you folks are too busy, maybe you could just bring the projector in here. I know how to run one, and I'll take good care of it." I knew doggone well it was the wrong thing to do. There weren't any pictures. It was a pretty bad night. You got no time at all, but it seems like you got all the time in the world. You got nothing to do, but you got everything. You read a book, a few lines like your life depended on it, but you know your life doesn't depend on anything that makes any sense, and you wonder where in the hell you ever got the idea it did. I did read a few things by a guy named Kraepelin, I believe. I don't remember much of it, but I did write down a few of the high points. Difficult to study because so seldom detected. The condition usually begins around the period of puberty and is often precipitated by a severe shock. The subject suffers from strong feelings of guilt combined with a sense of frustration and persecution, which increase with age. Yet there are rarely, if ever, any surface signs of disturbance. On the contrary, his behavior appears to be entirely logical. He reasons soundly, even shrewdly. He is completely aware of what he does and why he does it. That was written about a disease or a condition called dementia precox. Schizophrenia, paranoid type, acute, recurrent, advanced, incurable. It was written, you might say, about, well, I reckon you know, don't you? I reckon that's all. Unless our kind gets another chance in the next place. All of us people who started with a crooked cue, who wanted so much but got so little, who meant so well but did so bad. All of us kind. Me, Joyce Lakeland, big old Elmer Conway, and little old Amos Stanton. All of us.